Hi, my name is Dara, and in this WordPress tutorial, you're going to learn how to set up this website that looks great on all devices in under 1 hour. And you don't need any technical skills to do this. I'll walk you through every single step, including how to get your own domain name and how to secure your site against hackers. So that's what's coming up. Let's get straight into it. To actually build our website, we are going to be using a website builder called WordPress. And in this video, I want to explain briefly why we're going to be using WordPress before we jump in to the actual steps. And I also want to explain why we're going to be using WordPress over other options out there like Wix, Weebly, Squarespace, etc. You might have seen some of these other website builders out there. Well, I think the most important reason to use WordPress is because it is the most popular website builder or content management system, as it's also known. So 29% of the web uses WordPress. Like, this is insane. From hobby blogs to biggest sites to the biggest news sites online. So you can see some of them here: Vogue magazine, Bloomberg, Beyonce, Jay-Z. Like, a lot of people use WordPress. So it is by far and away the most popular option. Now, Wix, Weebly, Squarespace, even combined, all of them are less than 1% of the websites out there. So if you're picking a platform to learn and to understand, I think it's much more valuable to learn WordPress because there's much more demand in terms of businesses and clients for people with WordPress skills. And personally, I think that's a great reason to learn how to use WordPress. Now, another great thing about WordPress is that it's open source software. So nobody actually owns WordPress. It's actually free software. Now, in order to get our site up with our own domain, we do have to pay for hosting. So it's not like it's free to have a branded WordPress site. But what is interesting and what I like about this open source software aspect is that they can never just raise the prices on you. On Wix, for example, you're kind of bought into their whole platform. If they raise the prices, well, then you can't really just easily move your site somewhere else. On WordPress, if your hosting company, which is who you pay to keep the site up, if they actually increase their prices, well, then you can just move to another hosting company. So I really like that aspect, that it's open source, and it gives me a sense of security. If I'm investing time building a site, that I know that for the long term, it's always going to be there, and they're never going to increase the prices without me having an option to switch. So I really like that about WordPress as well. Now, the final thing about WordPress, which I think is a great reason to use it, is that they have a massive theme and plugin ecosystem. So themes are essentially skins that you put on top of WordPress, and it can completely change the look and feel of your site. And there are roughly 10,000 WordPress themes out there, and that means that you've 10,000 options to change your site. For some companies like Wix, they maybe have a couple of hundred, so there's just much more options for WordPress. Similarly, they have what's called a plugin ecosystem, and this allows you to add additional functionality to your site. There's over 50,000 plugins, and these are just little pieces of functionality that you can add to your site very, very easily. You just install them, and essentially you can automatically add that functionality in. And so it's great to have so many options to add this all in, which you wouldn't have with another website builder like Wix or Weebly, etc. They're just not capable of creating all of this extra software, because all of this extra software is created by independent companies. And that's the beauty of really that open source aspect of WordPress. So to sum up then, why use WordPress over some other website builders? Well, number one, 29% of the internet uses it. So you're building skills that are much more valuable in the marketplace. Two, it's open source, which means you're always protected in terms of a company shutting down or price changes. And number three, then there is a huge theme and plugin ecosystem, which really allows you to change the look and functionality of your site very, very easily. Now, the first two steps to set up your very own website is firstly to get web hosting and then to register your domain name. Now, web hosting will really allow you to store your website online so that people can access it all over the world. And your domain name will be, for example, your companyname.com, and that's your web address so people really know where to access your site. So there are plenty of places where you can complete these two steps, but I would recommend Bluehost.com. They are the company that I use personally. They've never let me down. And also, I've organized a pretty cool discount for you guys if you want to check it out. The link is in the description. You get a free domain, which will save you about $15. And then you can also get a 60% discount on your web hosting. So in the first year, you'll probably have saved $75 if you click the link in the description. But you can feel free to use any web host you want. The steps that I'm going to walk through in this video are pretty much going to be exactly the same. So either click on the link and you're going to come to a page like this, and then you can click Get Started Now. And then we need to select our web hosting plan. And there are a couple of options here, but I think for most people, you're just going to select the basic plan. That's $2.95 per month with the discount. And that means you can host one website online. Now, the only other option you might be considering is the Plus plan. So for a little bit more, you can have unlimited websites and host them. And why would you want to do that? Well, maybe if you're thinking of setting up a couple of websites, or maybe even you're creating websites and managing them for people, then this is a very affordable plan to select. But I think for most people, you're just going to want to be selecting the basic plan. And I do want to explain a little bit further now, why do you even need web hosting in the first place? If you've never set up a website, it's a bit of an alien concept because we just post stuff to Facebook, YouTube for free. And actually, those companies absorb that hosting cost themselves. They have to pay for data centers with servers on them. And so unfortunately, they won't pay for it when it's our own site, and that's why we have to pay for it. Essentially, we're buying here a little bit of space on a server in a database somewhere, and that's why we pay when we set up our own website, and we never pay when we upload to YouTube, etc., because they really cover the cost. So I think people find that explanation helpful, and so now that you understand why you need hosting, I think, and you know the plan to select, let's go ahead and select this basic plan here. Now, here comes the exciting part. We need to get our free domain. And so what you really want to do is think about your business name and type it in here. So in terms of picking a domain name, I would try and keep it as short as possible, less than 20 characters. You want it to be something that rolls off the tongue easily. So if you said it in conversation, they would remember that that was your web address. And it's more important to have a domain name that is brandable and memorable rather than a domain name that has loads of your keywords in them, because actually having keywords in your domain name is not going to really help you rank in the search engines. It might give a clue about what your business is about, so try and include them if you can, but don't have like 10 keywords stuck together. People are never going to remember that. They're never going to type that in, so you want to keep it as short as possible. So if you're creating a new domain, you can type it in here, or you also have this option if you've bought a domain previously to go ahead and sign up. So I'm going to just put in WP, so WordPress setup demo. And then we get to select our domain ending. You can see now it's on .co.uk. And I would try and get the .com if you can, if it's available. That's what people remember the most. It seems like the most trustworthy. They don't have to think about what's the domain ending. But there are other options out there. You can see them here. .org is very popular for charities. .co is becoming more popular as well for startups and new companies. But for now, I'm just going to buy the .com and then click Next. So now we need to go and fill out our account information. So I'm just going to take a couple of moments to fill this all out. So once you've filled out your account information, then you just want to review your package information. And you can see by default here, there will probably be a couple of options selected by default. So I'll just explain what each of these options are, and then you can decide whether you want to leave them enabled or not. So the first one is domain privacy protection. So what is this about? Well, the reason you might want to keep this is because there is a site called whois.com, and I'll just put it in an example site here, growthstars.com. And on this site, people can find out the phone number and the email that you would have put in when you registered your domain name. Now, a lot of people don't want that information public. You might get a couple of random emails or maybe even a phone call. So some people select this domain privacy protection option so they don't get that. Now, personally, I don't mind if I get a random email, so I can save myself really $1 just by doing that. Now, Site Backup Pro, this is an option maybe you should leave enabled. Essentially what this will do will back up your site, especially if you have a big site with a lot of content on it. You may be changing content, you may be editing the code, something like that, something breaks, and you need to get your backup version so that you can get your site back up and running. For this demo site that I'm setting up, I'm not going to select that, but I think that is a good option for a lot of people. Now, site security, again, there's more information there. I'm going to show you a couple things to do to secure your site, so you don't need that option. Then, once you're ready, all you need to do is type in your payment information, which I'm going to take a minute to do now. Okay, I've typed in my payment information there, and then you just want to select I've read the terms and agreements and click submit. Okay, so great, our purchase was successful and a confirmation has been sent to our email address. And before we can log in, as it says here, we need to create a password. Next step then is just to go ahead and insert a secure password, and it'll give you an indication of how strong that is. So I would recommend you try and make that strong so your site stays secure. And then you can just say, I've read the terms and agreements, and click next. So they'll give us the option here to pick a theme. What I will actually do is just skip this step. Okay, we're all done. Now I am getting a notification here that they will update my domain automatically as soon as it's ready. So that's good to know. You might see a similar notification, and then we can just go ahead and click start building. So here we are now in the back end of our brand new website. And if you want to take a look at what it looks like, just come up to welcome, come up to visit site, and we can see that this is what our site is really looking like now. It's pretty basic so far, not a lot of content on it, but we're going to be making this really look incredible and adding content to it. But that really wraps up the first steps to setting up your site, registering domain name, getting hosting, and installing WordPress. Now that you've set up your WordPress website and you are logged into the backend, I want to bring you on a tour of the WordPress dashboard so you can really understand how easy it is to change the look and feel of your site. So the first thing that I want to explain to you is if you come down to appearance and then themes, is really the most radical way that you can change the look and feel of your site, and that is to change the theme. So we can see right now that we have the 2017 theme installed on our site. It's active. Now this theme comes free with all WordPress sites in 2017. And also you can see the previous versions here as well, which you can activate if you want. Also, you can add themes that you find online. And I'm also going to show you how to install a premium corporate theme in a little bit as well. But the key message that I want to say is that if this is not the type of site that you want, do not worry about it at all. You can install a theme that transforms this into a fully functioning e-commerce site. You can change this to a corporate website or whatever. WordPress is definitely not just for blogs. And just by changing the theme is really a radical way that you can change the look and feel of your site. But before we get into that, I just want to walk through some of the more basic steps that you can easily change right away and play around with. So, let's come up to our posts and have a look at all of our posts here. We can see that we have just one post or blog post on our site. It's called Hello World, and this will come as default as well. So we can see it here. That's the title, and this is the content of the post. So if we want to change that, we can come into Edit. And what we can do now is to edit the title of this post. So let's just change this to first post. And if you were typing a blog post, this is where the title of your blog post would go. And we can just say, this is my first post. This is my first post, yay. And what we can also do is change the URL of this post as well. So what we can put in here is first dash post. So let's update this and see how it changes on our site. So there we go, we've changed the title and the post. And even if we click into this, we should be able to see the URL that has changed as well. Now what you might be seeing in this URL is the date, and it is possible to remove that, so it's just ourwebsite.com / whatever we've put in there. And so to do that, I would highly recommend you do this, just even for the search engines. So come down to settings, permalinks, and then we can set the URL as the post name. Then we can go ahead and click Save Changes. And now let us come back to our post to make sure that that is changed. So if we edit it again, just open that up, we can see that that has been changed. And if we go to we'll have to change the URL here. And we can see that that's coming up, and that is showing much more cleaner and neater. And that's actually much more search engine friendly. So I would really recommend that you come in to your settings and change those permalink settings to the post name. So there, we've edited a post. Now, what about if we wanted to add a post? Well, again, we just come to the sidebar, click on Add New, and we can just type in second post. We just wanted to see the content again. And you can see that now, because we've changed the permalink settings, that it's just showing up as / our keyword or our title. So I'm going to go ahead and publish that. And if we come into our site preview, we can see that it's showing up here now in the recent posts. And even if we just come back to our home page, we should be able to see the second post and the first post. So there you go. That is how you add a post to your site. And already that's how we're starting to build up the content. Now you're going to learn how to add pages to your WordPress website. So come back into the dashboard once again. You want to come to pages this time. And then let's firstly have a look at all the pages on our site. So right now we can see that we just have one sample page. And again, we can click into edit this. And if we want to really preview the page, we can just open it up as well. So here we can see it just says sample page. It's the title of the page, and it looks like kind of an About Us section. So what we can do is change this page name again to About Us. We can also change some of the text here as well. So I'll just delete some of that just to show you the difference. Or maybe let's just keep it as this part here. And we can edit out this text as well. And well, we can just make sure as well that this changes to About Us. Now what we can go ahead and do is update the page. And let us preview the changes as well so we can really see it there. So it's changed to About Us, and we can see the text here that you either inputted yourself or that I just left in there. So if we come back to our just normal page though, we can't actually see this About Us page. It's kind of hidden away somewhere. So what we want to do is insert a menu up here at the top so we can really see the pages of our site across the top. And before we do that, we might end up adding one more page. So let's just put in services. Our services. And again, what we can do is preview it just to see how it looks like. And there's nothing there now, but essentially we've created another page and we can just go ahead and publish it. Now, as we said, we can't see those pages from our home page. So how do we get those visible to our visitors? Well, what we can do is come down to appearance and then menus. And what we want to do is go ahead and create a menu. And we can call this main menu and then create it. Now what we want to do is add our pages to our menu. And then we can go ahead and click display location top menu and save the menu. And then if we open up our site and refresh the page, we can see these menu items appearing up here. And if we click through, we can come and see our About Us page or our Services page. Now, if you want to adjust how those appear, if you want to put the About Us page first, then you simply just rearrange the order, click Save, and click Refresh just to see those changes. Now, what we might do actually is want to put in a menu item for our homepage or our blog as well. So what we can do is come across to our menu, click View All, click Home, click Add to Menu, and then we can see that that's been added. Click Save and click Refresh. And now we can see the home page, which we can get back to quickly from any page on the site. So what about these links in the sidebar here? How could we change the appearance of this or the order of these? Well, what we want to do is come into our dashboard once again, this time come down to widgets. And in here we can see the blog sidebar, and we can add widgets in just to drag and drop them in. If we wanted to see a calendar, we could add that in. We could just give it a title. Calendar, click Save. If we refresh our site, we can see the calendar appears up here. So you can add in different things like a list of categories for your blog post, custom HTML, which you maybe might use to put in a sign-up form for an email. You can put in images, recent comments, different things like that, videos, etc. Now, what if you want to change the order? Well, you simply just rearrange them here. So if we come back in, we can see the search bars at the top. And if you want to delete any of these widgets, you can just go ahead and delete it very easily, and it will instantly update. Now, there's one more important thing that you might want to change, and that is up here. And you can see it says welcome, just another WordPress site. So we do want to change that. And to do that, we can come to appearance once again, come to customize. And in here, you can come into site identity. And so what I'll put in here is the name of the site, WP, setupdemo.com. And then I can say, learn how to set up a WordPress site. And then I can just click Save and Publish. And if I come to my site once again, refresh the page, you can see this change. Now that we've made all those changes, one thing you might want to do and just make sure is that your site is live. So if we come up to Bluehost right at the top here, you may see this here that you can launch your site. Your site is currently displaying a coming soon page. So I'm going to go ahead and click Launch the Site. And once again, we can go and view the site here. So already you've learned how to change the tagline on your site, add menus, add posts, add pages, change the widgets. As you can see, it's very simple to work with WordPress, even if you're non-technical like me. If you want to take the look and feel of your WordPress website to the next level, then something you should seriously consider are premium themes. Now, if we come down into our site, we can see underneath our themes here, the theme that we're using right now, which is the 2017 theme. It is the free theme that comes when you download WordPress. And I think it looks pretty good, and it's definitely all you need to have a fully functioning website. But if you do want to take it to the next level, then definitely consider getting a premium theme. Now, there are lots of places where you can get premium WordPress themes, but really the shop that I would recommend is mythemeshop.com. And you can see they've over almost 400,000 happy customers. I use them exclusively because they have great themes, but particularly because their support is incredible. And that's really important for non-technical people. You can see some of the questions that I've asked here, just things I didn't really know how to do or couldn't figure out. And they really helped me, and they always got back within 24 hours. And that is really necessary if you're not that technical. It's really, really helpful. And it's definitely not something that every theme shop offers. So that's why I would recommend these guys. Now, in terms of the themes, there are loads of options. And they have over 100 different themes here. And they're all broken down by categories, so you can come in and have a look at these if you want. For example, they have really good e-commerce themes as well. So you can see this one. You can essentially get this site by just downloading this theme. And you can see that something like this looks extremely professional. It's a lot different to this. And instead of you coding it or hiring a developer, you can just buy this theme and have all of that functionality, look and feel built in. So instead of spending hundreds or thousands on a developer to get the site you want, you can just buy one of these themes for less than $50. Now, I do know there is a price tag on these, and you might be thinking, is it worth it? But I can guarantee you this is a tiny investment that you could make to really make your site look professional. And I think you would earn the money back pretty much straight away. So a couple of themes that I like, I'd recommend that one for e-commerce. If you're just looking for an upgrade on the blog, one theme that I've used in the past is the schema theme. It looks great. And when you click into all of these themes as well, you can get a full demo of them to really get a sense of, what they look like before you go ahead and purchase these. If we click in here, and all of these come with a 30-day money back guarantee as well, so you can always just try them out. If you're not happy, return them. So schema theme, really fast, really SEO friendly as well. That's why I've used it in the past. And another one that I would recommend and that I'm actually going to use for this example is the corporate theme. Here we go. And I think this is a perfect theme if you are setting up a company website. You can see it looks great. Meet our team, services, our work, our portfolio, different experience that we have, plans and pricing, etc. So it looks extremely professional, and it also has a blog and everything, so you can do your content marketing. So even if you're building websites for people, I recommend buy the theme. Then you can deliver a very professional looking website in a very quick time frame. So I'm going to go ahead and get this theme. Even if you want to get a different theme, the process is going to be the same for installing it. So let's just go ahead to the checkout and get this one. So I'm going to proceed to payment. I'm going to pay with debit card. I'm going to pop in my details here and then click I'm ready to download. So now what we need to do is just go ahead and check our email to get the download instructions. So log into your email and come to your folder and get your download link. So just click on the link and then click on download instructions. We want to click on download theme files, and then we're going to follow these steps here. So we'll just download this zip file. Then what we want to do is go to Appearance Themes Uploads. So if we come back in to our dashboard, then we come to Appearance, Themes, and then add the new theme. And then we can come to Upload Theme, choose the file, and choose the theme. Then we can just click Install Now. And then what we can do is activate the theme. Now, once you can see the theme is active, what you might want to do is just come up and visit the site to see any of the changes. And what we can see here is that not a lot is happening. This is not really what we wanted to get. But don't worry, all you need to do is just one further step. Come down into Theme Options. And then down in the end, you're going to see the Import Export option. And this will be the same steps no matter what My Theme Shop theme that you buy. And you can see here that you have three options: import the theme options, import theme options and widgets, and import theme options, widget, and content. So you want to select this option here if you want your site to appear exactly like it appears in the demo. And if you want a reminder of what that looks like, just click that open. And you can see that if you want your site to look exactly like this with all this demo content and all the pages and menus laid out exactly the same, then you can just go ahead and select that option, which I'm going to do, to import the theme options, widget, and content. And just click OK. Could take a couple of minutes for all of this to load up. And once that's done, we can just click OK, and then we can come again now and visit our site to see the changes. So now that we can see that the theme and all of the sample content has been loaded up on our domain, and I think it really looks fantastic. Now obviously this is only going to be sample content in here, so we're going to want to customize this and update it for ourselves, but it's very simple. It's just drag and drop, it's click, it's just copy and paste, but I think it looks really, really good. And also, say if we come across to our blog, we can change the posts, we can unpublish posts, etc. We can change the widgets, we can change the pages. So to do that, we can come back into our site, and there is an additional tab here now under our appearance theme for our My Theme shop theme called Theme Options. And this just makes it really easy again to change your theme that you've downloaded. So if we come to general settings, for example, and I'll come back to the home page, we can change this logo and this favicon, these small images here, just by uploading them. Very simple to do. If we come down to our home page here, we can see that we can change the home page layout. So if we want to put theme above features on our home page, we can just drag and drop that and move that around. No coding required. If we want to come to our intro and change the text and image on our homepage and where that links to, we can change all of this information here in this section, and we can change the button, we can change what it says, we can change where it links to, etc. So very easy to send it to, say, your services page rather than your portfolio. We'll keep on moving down, just have a look at a couple of other things. Meet our team. So right now you can see that they have kind of sample text here, and you obviously want to update that for your own theme or your own team, and you can just click in, change the photos, change the links, change the descriptions, etc. So very simple, it's just drag and drop. It will take a little bit of time to update the site with your own content, but it's very simple to do. And let us come and have a look at pages as well. If you want to, say, remove some of those pages that come with the theme and the sample content, you can do that easily. You can just select the page, you can edit it, you can move it to trash, you can do it in the same way. If we come back out, we can actually select a bunch of pages at once, select a bulk action like move it to trash or edit it. And what is often a good idea is you don't maybe want to move it to trash. So what you can always do is edit the page, or we can actually do a quick edit and we can unpublish the page, move it to draft. And so that will be there if we want to reinstate it later, but it won't appear on our site. So we can move any pages to draft that we don't want. Similarly, if we look at posts, if we come across to our blog, we can see that there are quite a few posts here with a lot of sample content. So what I would recommend you maybe do is just, you can move those to draft, you can update that, and for example, they will be removed from the blog, but you can use those templates for later, and you can do that for multiple ones as well. Now in the sidebar of our blog as well, we can see we've got some widgets, we mightn't have sponsors, we mightn't have this image, etc. So once again, very simple, just come down into appearance, widgets, and we can just change these around. Now the cool thing about this theme is that it comes with different widgets as well, so we can see that we have a link to all our social profiles. Now if we don't have all these social profiles, what we can do is just remove the sample links here. So I'll just, for example, take out Facebook. We can see Facebook here. And what we can do, if I save that, take out the link, you can see that's removed. Now you will want to put in the links to all of your own profiles here. If you want to delete that completely, you can just delete that. That will disappear. And if you want to reinstate it, what you can do is come down here. We should see social profile icons. And we'll just need to put in maybe a little hash or our own links in here. So let's say I had Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. It's probably all YouTube that I'm going to have. Click save. And they're all going to come up there. So you can see it's very easy to customize your theme with your own content once you have downloaded it. Now, one final thing you might want to do is change your theme at some stage or upload a different theme or activate a different theme. So to do that, come back to Appearance Themes, and you can see if you did want to reinstate the theme that you had previously, you can firstly get a live preview of it and just to see what that looks like, and really to see the difference now between this free theme and this paid theme that we have spent a small amount of money on. I think this one looks way more professional. Hopefully this has opened your eyes to the value of premium themes. And so if you want to go get one for yourself, I would recommend My Theme Shop. The process is the same, just download it and then upload that file into the theme and activate the theme. Now that your site is set up, let us briefly talk about WordPress security and also how to install WordPress plugins which add additional functionality to your site. So firstly, in terms of keeping your site secure, one of the best things that you can do is just come into updates here in the sidebar and just make sure that you have the latest version of WordPress. WordPress are constantly updating the software just to prevent against any hackers or spam. So the best way to stay protected is just to check that you have the latest version of WordPress, and you can just check that here. Or if you see a little notification to install it, you can just click the button and go ahead and install it. Now there are other things that you can do to protect your site, and one is to install some plugins with additional security feature. So if we come down to the plugins section here, plugins really allow us to add additional functionality to our site. And it's one of the key benefits of setting up a website with WordPress, because you can really add so much extra functionality very easy. In fact, if we come to the WordPress.org site, we can see under plugins here that there are about 50,000 extra plugins, which we can easily just add into our site. We can see how many people use them, etc. Now I want to show you a plugin that you can use to add a little bit of extra security to your site. But before we do that, we can actually go ahead and delete some of these plugins that are pre-installed on our WordPress site. Now, plugins do take up a little bit of space on your site, so if you're not using them, it's probably recommended that you delete them. So for example, we can see that this Jetpack and Hello Dolly are by default installed on our site. And what we can do is actually firstly deactivate any plugin that we don't want first. And then what we can go ahead and do is select them and delete them. So this is the process. No matter what plugin you are using, you can install them, delete them, test them out, and it's very easy to add them in. Now, in order to find new plugins, you can just click on Add New, and then you can come up to the search bar here if you want. You can also see some plugins are featured here, and there's also some of the most popular ones here as well, which you can come in and you can have a look at really what they actually do, and if you think that's applicable to you, you can just go ahead and install them very, very easily. Now I'm going to show you how to install a plugin, and this is one that will just help a little bit with security. So it's called Login Lockdown, and it should pop right up. And what we can do is go ahead and just install this. Essentially what this will do is limit the number of login attempts from a given IP range within a certain period. So say if somebody was trying to hack your site, they're just putting a script on to try a load of different passwords. Well, this little plugin will lock them out of the site for an hour so that they can't hack in. So all you need to do is click install. And then we can see it's been installed. If we come to our list of installed plugins, we can see that it is here. We need to activate it. And that's all we really need to do to add that extra security in. Now what you can do also is adjust those settings if you want. So if you come to settings, login lockdown, we can see that the number of failed attempts before they retry, we can change that if we want, how long they're locked out of. You can adjust those settings easily for this plugin and for any plugin in the very same way once you download them. I'm just going to leave it as it is. It's a simple plugin and no need to adjust the settings. So that is how you add some additional security to your site. Remember just to make sure you're always updating to the latest version of WordPress. You can add in a plugin like Login Lockdown, and you can also add any other plugin to your WordPress website in the very same way. Congratulations on completing this WordPress tutorial. If you found it helpful, please share the link with your friends on social media or by email. They'll thank you for it. If you're ready to set up your website, as a reminder, the link to get your free domain and 60% off hosting is in the description. And finally, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this.